Hey there guys, what is happening? Today we're talking all about how to heal your addictions. This is a foolproof guide, let's get it.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, what is happening? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today we're talking all about how to heal your addictions, okay? Now this has been something that I've been trying to categorize and figure out like a mad mystic scientist of how to really heal something that stifles us and keeps us trapped in a very specific paradigm, right? You'll notice a lot of addicts, they get into secrecy, hiding, and isolation. So one of the things that you've really got to do is have accountability and have a way that you reach out to someone and actually tell them the noise that's in your mind, like really find a way to vent, okay, about this process, how frustrating it can be, the withdrawals, the relapses, the moments of, shutting down or going inwards. You got to speak about that, right? You can't keep making it private and staying in your hidden world. The more you stay in that hidden world, the more you're repressing your own feelings and going, feeling this social shame where you shut down. No, like society still doesn't respect addicts in a sense, just based on like the label of that, right? And so one of the things is like really finding a healing community or somewhere where you can have this outlet for your own expression, okay? So, the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it is connection. Second thing is you need to replace your addiction with something else that is thriving to you. Mainly, it's got to meet your core needs, okay? Tony Robbins speaks about this. We have 6 core needs, okay? There's spiritual needs, there's, psychological needs, there's like a masculine, feminine need in a sense. Usually men go for significance, women go for love and connection, though it can flip in certain cases. I know a lot of men who value love and connection, or I asked my mom the question, what are your core needs? She said, it's a little bit in between both. And so you can't really tell based on that. But what you can know is, like, let's say you have a very addictive habit. Let's say you're gambling or you're smoking or you're using a substance or something like this, right? Now, there's a type of aversion therapy where whenever you use that thing, like let's say you're smoking, right? You put all of the ash from like your cigarette butts out, right? Like the ash from the cigarettes. You put it into a sock, right? And you smell it. This is like a type of aversion therapy. You'd smell it every time you get an urge to smoke. So now you're associating that thing with not something pleasurable, but actually something that causes you more pain. This is actually how I quit smoking back in college. When I was super addicted, I'd smoke packs and packs, and I was in a hipster liberal arts, location. So it kind of perpetuated that, you know what I mean? But when I started to notice myself getting dizzier, and it could be other reasons that I got dizzy, not just from the smoking, but I noticed every time that I'd smoke, I get very dizzy and I'd get these headaches and migraines, right? And so I started associating, even if it wasn't the case, I started associating the migraines or the negative impact to the smoking, in a sense. And that really, and I had a girlfriend at the time who, was supportive for me quitting and things like this. So, I remember giving my whole pack of smokes to someone on campus and being like, here you go, man. I'm never doing this again. You can have all of it. They appreciated it, but I felt like that was a very clinical, like sharp gesture on my part, being able to do that and just, stepping in to my power and being like, enough is enough, man. I've got to put my foot down. I've got to decide, which means to cut out all other options. Just make sure what your core needs are in relation to your addiction. Like, maybe it gives you a feeling of certainty. Maybe it gives you a feeling of love and connection. Maybe it gives you a feeling of growth. Maybe it gives you a feeling of contribution. First of all, you got to make sure that whatever core needs your addiction is fulfilling, you got to replace that addiction with another activity where your core needs are being met. Okay? Easier said than done. Okay? But let's say you're getting the endorphins from doing something like cocaine. Finding a way into a fitness journey or a fitness lifestyle to get those endomorphins and endorphins, running through your system and being so impactful, and the dopamine from that, which can override that craving for the dopamine quickly, right, through that cocaine. It's really about figuring out your own roadmap to this thing, right? You want to figure out your roadmap. You don't want to look at somebody else's roadmap. Like even 12 steps, they give you this path towards God, in a sense. You surrender to God. Like that is part of the process of 12 steps, right? So you got to find your own spirituality. That's the thing, right? People who associate more with religion, they find a way to think that, I'll be punished, I'll go to hell. I think people who have experienced spirituality to the greater depths, they're like, I've been to hell and I never want to go back. That's one of the major differences. So you've got to really create and find your universal connection with the source, with the absolute, with God, with universe, with energy, whatever it is. Even if you're an atheist, you got to have some belief in the system of how this all works. Looking at the unified field, like all of this stuff, right? The more spiritual you are, those things won't haunt you. Like those addictions won't haunt you as much anymore. This is what I've really noticed, because addiction really disconnects us. Every time you use that thing or depend on that thing as a crutch, as a way to escape the present moment, as a way to escape your reality, that it's so bad, as a coping mechanism, as a defense mechanism, as a survival strategy, the more you give up on your own personal power. Okay? And you have a personal power, a power within you that is so strong that it can override anything. You have a determination within you. It's just hidden. No one has told you how to activate it yet. There's no catalyst within you actually accessing your flow state. Or there's no one reminding you that, hey, man, stop it, cut it out, stop that bullshit, right? You don't have higher order thoughts or a company that makes you thrive in their presence and supports your ascension. This is the thing, man. You gotta be really activated as a flow Jedi, right? This is what this channel is about, is activating that frequency, that flow state that you have within you, and it's always been with you. When you were a child, it was so easy to access, right? Now, as you grow older and the mundanity and the repetitiveness of life gets you this feeling, right? However, something very important to note is excellence is created from many, many mundanities, many moments of just repetition and boring tasks and chores. But I don't even call them those things because I don't want to interpret that reality like that. I would rather not have negative words in my positive statements, okay, towards myself, my own inner self-talk. And this is what is really important. It starts from the mind, it starts from the thoughts, your addiction. Your mind is running you right now, constantly. You're overthinking things. You're stuck in your head. You've got to find a way to go from mind to body, mind to heart, mind to connectedness, mind to awareness. And this is why starting a yogic path, a meditation path, an exercise path, something more sustainable, a healthier habit that you double down on, that lets you start this journey. I know a lot of people on the semen retention process, they're not really replacing, like they're being stagnant as they do that process. And so of course they're going to get really frustrated. But if you have a Qigong practice or a Taoist practice or some kind of an internal alchemy practice, right? It just makes the process a lot smoother and easier for you, right? You want to make this process as easy as you can. So the more boundaries and layers and overcomplication that you get in the way, it's like, we know, right? Okay, calorie deficit. Like, we know how to do this thing, right? Be healthy. We've heard it so many times, right? Just counting your calories, all this kind of stuff. When I started to go into that and micromanage myself, you know what I mean? It just got me more stressed. When I was counting the days, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, it got even more stressed. And I have nothing against people who are 100 days sober or whatever. That's fine. You do you. But I recognize there's something within me that is causing that addiction in the first place, an insecurity, a pain that I'm running away from, that I want that much pleasure, right? Sometimes you can wean yourself off of it. Sometimes you can cut it off cold. You know yourself better than me, okay? I know that if I cut it off cold, I'm gonna have different issues along the pathway. But I know if I limit myself a lot more, if I wean myself off from it, I ritualize the addiction and keep it as a presence or a meditation activity, I start to gain power back over it. And it doesn't become this crutch or this thing that I need. It's like, this craving, right? A craving for your addiction is always a craving for oneness or God. It is. It's you want to connect with something, and that thing is greater than you. The self-concept of you got to realize you did some bad shit because of this addiction, right? You made some harmful choices. You pissed off some people. Your family's worried about you. You know, there's a bunch of factors here that you really have to consider. But it's truth that will erode all of that. Truth, just telling the truth, will erode all of that. Not living in lies, not hiding, not suppressing, not snipping and editing everything you're doing, not curating a very perfect type of persona. Because I've been coaching people for a long time, man, and I can smell the BS from a mile away, trust me. If you want to work with me one-on-one, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, let's get working. Let's get you back in the flow, from a fear state of mind to a flow state of mind. Let's get it today. Upward Spiral Gang, may we never be the same again. Hit that like and subscribe button, you already know. Flow state activation. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it today. Hit that subscribe button.